Hey everybody, welcome back to the Warcamp Broadcast, where we talk about all things Return to Reckoning. I'm Serj.
And I'm Bank, welcoming you to a special episode. You can
Yes,
see what we've got on screen.
well, we wanted to talk about this because it is a really hot topic right now. Everybody wants to know, what is Bank's favorite color?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just
green.
kidding. Obviously, we're talking about the PTS updates because it is in the title and because it's up on the screen right now. We wanted to throw out a little
Disclaimer.
disclaimer because the PTS is most likely what we're going to see on live, but things can change. So we're going to take it as it is and talk about what we see now. And if things do change drastically when it does go on live in the next week or two, we will let you know. And but it'll be a much shorter episode. So
Yeah. We'll give you our honest impressions. I think most of us had some time with it a little bit on PTS. We are, kind of looking forward to talking about this. I think it's been all the talk in our communities, on the forums, on the discords.
There's been a lot of hate, but if you've
Yeah.
actually tested it out, which we have, you'll notice that things are not as bad as they may seem. Okay, so give it a shot, let it sit for a little bit. Numbers can change, so we're not going to dive into the class changes right away. We want to talk about the stuff that's all the way at the bottom here.
Yeah, let's get the housekeeping items out of the way.
And then we'll talk about what Bank's favorite color is.
Yeah. Don't close the tab yet. We will talk about the classes, but
we're gonna go over this really quick.
Let's just go, because people skim over this, but there's so much important stuff here.
Yeah. Bank wanted to talk about the RVR stuff to start with.
I always want to talk about our VR. Okay, so a couple of things. Central point of the Warcamp debuff in Calidor has been moved. Lord knows Calidor Warcamp pushes are legendary. This is a good thing. Get those guards and the guards won't change places, but it's the Warcamp buff, so you can defend yourself. I know, especially playing Destro, we can push up almost all the way into the camp. I don't like it. I hate that hill. I don't like Warcamp pushing. This is a good thing. So it's nearer to the resource drop-off banner now for both factions. Good news. The other one is the supply boxes. In a previous patch, the supply box hitbox has been reduced, so you stay stuck on those less. But when they spawn in the freaking air, you still get stuck all the time. But now the boxes will actually drop. LOL, that works. The perfect pun. I'm very happy with that. But they will actually drop on the ground, which is
they
much
will
better.
snap to the ground instead of be floating, suspended in the
air. And it will not break immersions. Okay?
I wonder if there's going to be like a ragdoll effect. Probably not. It's probably just going to snap to the ground.
Probably not, but that'd be cool, right?
Yeah,
box is like rolling down the hill. We're dreaming now, but that'd be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
My immersion would be back, and then banners can no longer be planted near the posterns. This makes sense. The banner isn't a mechanism for you to funnel people. Big one, T2, T3 keep lords losing 20% armor. Yes, I hate those keeps.
It's awesome. They take too long. This should help.
Awesome. The destruction keep lord in Safari will no longer have a life tap tied to its AoE. That seems like it's a good idea. If there's a lot of players there, that seems like you gain a lot of health and extend that fight for no good reason.
There's no reason to have all of
high
that.
level. I think keep lords should live long enough to give the opposing realm a chance at counterplay. I've seen a lot of counterplays over the weekends as I got a chance to play a little bit. But it shouldn't be so long that everyone's standing there half AFK super bored.
Yeah. Wake me up whenever we're done, guys.
Right?
I think that a 20% nerf in their armor and then no longer having a life tap, I don't think that that's going to make it to where they can't counterplay. I believe that there's plenty of health, there's plenty of armor left. They're still going to take a while. It's just not going to be as bad, so that should help with that. Next one, we have the itemization. with the introduction of the War Emblems, which is what you get from scenarios, then you are going to have a different track for people that like to do scenarios, strictly scenarios. So now you have the PvP RVR track, you have the PvP scenario track, and you have the PvE track, which is done through war tokens and through dungeon queues. Well, there's no queues, but you know what I mean. They're doing dungeons. So now there's 3 different progression paths, more gear, more horizontal progression, more ways to play the game that we know and love. So this is all the way around, I think, a really good thing to introduce these new scenario only tokens. And if you haven't already seen the vendors, go check out the vendors. They have all new gear ready to go for you to buy for scenario players.
Vendors on the PTS, the track is live as of this morning, so glad we're doing this on a Monday. The new scenario week 31 is out with War Emblems as the reward. War Emblems are not were not on the PTS. I haven't checked as of today. But the new track is in the live game pre-patch. That's pretty cool. So you can start doing your scenarios and amassing your War Emblems. I'll never remember emblems, crests, and tokens. I'll always mix them up.
It's gonna happen, but you know, it's blue, red, and yellow, which is very colorblind friendly, if you ask me.
Yeah, color coded for a smart choppa like me. Now, speaking of choppa weapons, got to check out the weapons on the PTS. They're higher DPS than Anathema. There's a lot of changes here. Read up on yourself. There's weapon tracks, basically. Basically, supremacy is required for reverence or infamy for Anathema, so on and so forth. The new weapons that are purchasable, I saw the proc that I saw for Sork that I looked at most was a support type proc that gives move speed. Interesting. There's going to be some interesting possible plays, and it's a very high DPS weapon. So I think that we're going to have some fun options, and BIS could start shifting very shortly.
I don't know if it's going to shift. I think it's just going to be another option. There will be more room.
It seems like a very support oriented one.
Yeah,
I love it. I love this. Love this.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, that armor side is very heavy.
I mean, if you look at it, basically what it is, this armor stuff, it seems like a lot, but what it basically boils down to is most of the low-level sets have had their war crests increased very, very slightly, like by 1 or 2 war crests here and there. But if you come down to the triumphant stuff, significant price reduction in the triumphant and victorious gear sets.
Mostly coming from the ring 8,000.
Right. So the total cost has come down about 10,000 crests. Instead of it being 16,127, it's now 6,315 for the entire set, including the jewelry. So giant change for the triumphant and victorious sets. The other big news here is the warlord pieces. They did have their prices increased, but they are now on the same track as Sov, which gives you more stuff to choose from instead of, okay, Sov is the best set. Now you have Sov, Off-Sov, and Warlord on the same tier, and they all cost 10,000. So Sov has been reduced to 10,000 instead of 10,300, and Warlord has been increased to 10,000 from 7,900. So overall, I think it's a good change because now you have more options, and most of the stuff has been balanced around all of the new sets for in-game. All the way around, I think it's a very good change. Having more gear is just always good. I don't think I'm ever going to stop saying
We've both been advocates for throwing out more options in the game. Now note, and very important, hear us when we say this, that Warlord changes aren't through yet. So yes, Warlord will be more expensive. It's mostly a set that people ignore. It will be more expensive and still have the exact same stats.
So buy it now.
It's any future rework. Yeah, buy it now before the patch drops. You got a week if you've got your crest saved up. Otherwise, wait for your triumphant refund anyways. If you're already on the high end. Otherwise, rejoice because like your immediate BIS option just got less expensive by about 8,000 crests, which is cool. And I look forward to having more options.
It's important
Warlord seems cool.
It's important to note they said that the jewelry was going to be 2,000 crests, but with the calculations that they've been doing based on their weights for everything, it actually ends up being 2,190 crests. So you're still going to get a significant sum of your crests back if you do the old jewelry to the new jewelry transfer, which you should do. So you'll still get around 7,000 crests back, so it's awesome.
More crests in my inventory, can't complain. And more gearing options. Obviously it's not in this upcoming patch, but just having a few more options at high-end gameplay to match your style.
My style.
That's so cool. Yeah, we all have to match Serj's style, by the way. They didn't put it in the patch notes because they thought it may be a little much, but that's just the way it is.
All right, so moving on to the PvE stuff, quality of life changes. 2 portals have been added to every starting zone. What this does is it allows players to create a dark elf or whatever high elf, an elf, and then go to any of the other pairings if you do not like that starting zone, or if you want to play with your friends in another starting zone, or if you're having a hard time figuring out how to change your key bindings so you can just war report to the current zone that is open for RVR. So this is just really, really good quality of life. So now you can go to any starting zone that you want. You don't have to run to the chapter 2 camp and fly, and you don't have any gold yet. This just alleviates a lot of those problems. And it's free, so that's great. This is just
playing with your friends is the best way to stick around in an MMO. That's
who plays an MMO alone? Like, if you're playing an MMO alone,
everybody, no?
I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, I just don't understand it, but you know, whatever. It's just
what do the first 2 M stand for again? Massive multiplayer?
Massive single player.
Oh, I love those type of games. No, this is really great. Like, this is just a simple, quick win, quality of life type of thing. You come in, oh, you know, I like Dark Elves. My friend likes Chaos. We're super far away. We can't play together. We have no idea what to do. We can't play together. And we don't know how to use the war report because it's not bound. Everybody, bind your war report when you join the game, please. It's in
bind it to W. I'm just kidding. Obviously.
Oh man. Scenario we kind of already touched on the War Emblems portions. Scenario durations are changed a little bit. These are good things. Different reward systems because there's now a full-on reward track, so weekend war fronts worth a little bit less, but that means you can play scenarios throughout the week and still feel like you're getting a better reward. Obviously, like what I had some concerns with is the progression to your weekly scenario track is based on how many points you score. So if you're getting washed in scenarios, you're not scoring very many points. If you're winning, it's 10 games to get through.
Yeah, and the calculation that he's going off of is down further. You can get up to 500 points per scenario to win the scenario, and you need 5,000 points to completely finish up. It's right here to completely finish your track. So if you win all 10 games, then you only need to do 10 games for that week.
Yeah.
But if you're losing all of them and you're only getting 50 points because you're just getting your
that's a quick 100 games you got to do. Come on, like.
I mean, if you're enjoying scenarios, then who cares?
Nobody's enjoying losing with 50 points.
I'm not.
I like the potions crate. They did say in the patch notes, it's right there, that the prices of these is a little bit steeper than what they intend in the futures, just to try it out. It's basically for those that are finished with their emblems and don't constantly want to be taxed for PvPing. This is a great way. There's all sorts of potions in there, not just healing pots, main stat pots, all sorts of pots.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
This gives scenario players a way to get potions without having to buy them. So I think that's a great thing.
I did want to talk about, so scenario duration reduced to 12 minutes. I think that's good. Some of the stuff, flag exhaustion or exhaustion debuff for the flag carrier, smart move. Like, it gets annoying when people control the game that way. I did want to talk about the developer notes on Northern Watch. That Northern Watch is fully on the Lua control system. Not that it changes anything in the immediate for the scenario itself, but it just means that people who might be interested in joining the team that might not have C# experience, Lua is a lot better and better. It's simpler, and it allows to adjust things like a little bit more on the fly. So very excited about this. The team has been doing amazing work in the back end, flipping these things over. You know, and the roadmap, we heard about the map editor not being live with using these tools. So excited. Talabec Dam being changed, that scenario just sucked. And now it's going to be better. It's an escort. Reminds me of Overwatch.
It actually sounds a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it does.
So they're using the same map. They just changed the scenario to have a different the different way to play it.
Yeah.
And it's an escort. Like you're trying to escort your bomb carrier, and once you get it to the bridge, then it blow up the enemy's bridge. Cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool.
The new +25 talismans is something that the people that are basically done with their war crests, it gives them something else to do. A lot of people have complained about having to have champion marks for this, but they're adding new ways to get champion marks. There's a new speed quest in Lost Vale, Hunter's Vale. I've heard that they're going to be just introducing new ways to get these champion marks, so there's no reason for anybody to say like, oh, I don't have enough champion marks. If you don't like PvE and you don't want to do the stuff to get these champion marks, then these +25 talismans will be tradable. They can be bought and sold on the auction house, or if you're part of a large guild where people just have an abundance of the materials and champion marks, then they can craft, quote unquote craft. They can buy the new +25 talismans and you can trade with your friends. So the PvPers are probably going to have a harder time to get these, but we have said before, you can pick up cultivating and apothecary to kind of help alleviate some of those gold costs if you just absolutely hate PvE. And I do know that there are plenty of people out there that do not like PvE and they don't like being forced into it. Nobody's forcing you. These are tradable. Pick up cultivating, pick up apothecary. Do gun badge once a week. I don't know.
You're co-hosting this podcast with one of those people, but I'll be honest. I mean, I still the way I find the enjoyment in PvE is I run it with good groups, people whose company I enjoy, and yes, I'm here. I love the PvP, obviously, but I've had a lot of fun in dungeons. Like I'm not a great speedrunner, like I've had
plenty of bad times in dungeons. If you are the one person in the dungeon of 6 people that understands the mechanics and nobody's listening to you, then it's not fun and you don't want to be there and you just want to leave, but you feel bad because you're just leaving these people without either a healer or they have to fill a DPS or maybe you're the tank and now the run is dead because
sorry, no, at that point you're the babysitter.
Yeah, it sucks to be in that situation, and I agree. that is why I like to make sure that either people are in Discord with me or have some experience running the dungeon. I don't
I
like
100%
bringing
agree.
I don't like bringing people that are unwilling to learn the simple mechanics that these dungeons have.
As you said, anyways, PvE is the way to get the champions marks, but the talismans aren't locked to that completely. You can buy them. How are you going to make money? PvE is the best way, but whatever.
It is
Or do it with your
hands
guild,
down.
right? It is what it is. The last fail stuff, I love that they're adding a speed run. I think there should be a speed run option for every dungeon.
That's true. I agree with that. I think there should be more speedruns in the game as a whole. But to put the nail in the coffin, that's the wrong terminology. I'm excited about this next one here for Lost Veil. They have a quality of life teleport after you defeat Drillel, the spider. So after you defeat Drillel, you will notice that there is now a portal that will take you to the start of the dungeon, so you don't have to leave the dungeon and then run back in, and it just alleviates a lot of the problems. It just teleports you to the front of the dungeon so you can get back to the second wing a lot faster.
As a non super planned out PvE guy, I'm constantly forgetting that everyone will leave the party after Spider. And then I'm like, why are you guys leaving me?
It's just because it's faster. I love this because now you don't have to leave the group.
You're breaking my immersion.
The last part is Skull Verithrok. So for those of you that have been cheesing the fight, you can no longer cheese his fight. His punt range is longer, and he will hit you a lot harder if you are not tanking him inside of the circle. Or if you
I've never successfully even cheesed that fight, but I'll admit that
I know how to do it.
Favorite dungeon.
I don't teach people how to do it, so I'm not even going to talk about
it. Moot point, can't do it anymore once this becomes live. Yeah. Hunter's Veil, like, it's such a fast dungeon. I love it for a speed quest. And then vendor locations for some Bloodlord weapon exchange inside Bastion Stair, all of that, like just placing all the guys better. Guilds, this one I think is really cool. I think alliances are still an important feature of the game, and being able
use ours all the time.
Being able to kick non-active or dead guilds from it and keep your alliance fresh is really important.
Yeah, it's a week too late for GW and our alliance. We just reformed ours to get rid of some old dead guilds, but it's fine. I like the new name.
It is what it is. Yeah. Some bug fixes. I don't think we got to go through that. All right, everybody get ready. You're like, put on your bibs. Here comes the main course.
You know what? Let's start here at the bottom. We'll go backwards. Witch Elf and Witch Hunters. Witch Elf and Witch Hunters got a nerf to the way that their stealth works. It's now a maximum of 30 seconds, and if you are hit 10 times while you are in stealth, you will lose your stealth mechanic. I have heard a lot of people that like to play the main Witch Elf or Witch Hunter saying that this now makes it a lot harder for them to be that eye in the sky but if we're going to talk about it a little bit later, these changes are supposed to be centered around the fact that this is a RVR game. It is a large group game. That's what the game is balanced around. So having 50 Witch Elves and 50 Witch Hunters prowling around doing solo content in RVR was not the intent. This does not make it to where they are not usable in small man groups. They're still very useful in small man. They're still very useful in scenarios. It just makes it to where they are going to have a lot harder time running around in stealth for an extended period of time while in the open lakes. And the open lakes are not balanced around Witch Elves and Witch Hunters. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you agree with me or not, but I think that this change really does balance out the fact that RVR is meant for large groups, but you can
And I mean, this isn't
still do
honestly,
small group play.
yeah, but this isn't you giving a take here. Like it literally says right there, the priority of balancing in Return of Reckoning is set around group play, meaning any number from 6 all the way up to large scale fights in RVR. However, if we can improve balance for smaller number of fights without negatively affecting group balance, we're willing to do so. So it has to be a win-win. Hence, you will find a couple of changes to Witch Elf and Witch Hunter specifically aimed at that. The nerf to Sacrificial Stab is also aimed at group play. Definitely a nerf to Sacrificial Stab, a small nerf. I think Atonement was a great tactic for Burnaway Lies. Burnaway Lies in that 1v1 is monstrous. It's so strong. Obviously, the stealth is what we're talking about. Having a reset for Shadow Leap for Witch Elf is cool. That's going to add a lot of movement options for Warband play.
It says,
But
though,
the 30 seconds, I think, is the biggest. I think people were really focused on the getting hit 10 times. I'll walk through a puddle. Puddles do 1 point of damage every 1.5 seconds. Like, unless you're standing in them for 13 and a half seconds, you should be fine.
yeah.
You can't stack puddles, so they can't all tick at the same time. You should be fine. Nobody's going to be making giant trails of puddles. Otherwise, like the warbands that are standing there, we're literally go and stand in those and get morales. I think my opinion as a non-stealther, I do have a leveled witch hunter, but I wouldn't consider myself a stealther or a solo player. 30 seconds seems short. I understand the thing. Let's test it out. Let's adjust our playstyles. I'm not telling anyone to be happy with this, but it is a change. I understand where it's coming from.
I think perma stealth mechanics in MMOs are lame. But 30 seconds does seem a little short.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
It's not like nothing can be adjusted ever again.
Right.
This is where it puts them. Let's check it out, right? I hope, like, look, I think we depend on intelligence sent to us by witch elves and witch hunters about the enemy's movements. We depend on them to sometimes run boxes or cap points or hold strategic areas. So stealthers are important. They're a very important part of overall realm balance. So the intel for the realm stealth is annoying.
The intel for the realm is probably one of the coolest features that players that play Witch Elf and Witch Hunters have brought to the table. It's not their job, but that is what they do, and I love it.
I mean, in the lore, it's their job, but like, and honestly, that's one of the points. I remember when joining this game, people were like, "We have a spy telling them our movements." I'm like, there are literally stealth classes, dude. Like, they could be watching us right now. You should expect yourself to be that somebody has eyes on you all the time. There's a stealth class.
And there's probably somebody that you can't see right now, even if they're not stealth. They're just hiding behind a tree, watching you. So
this game's big. Like, come on.
People are watching.
But anyways, good luck. Don't give up, y'all. Test them out. Give the developers feedback. Also, there are ways of giving feedback, folks. Like, please, let's try the best.
You know what? Somebody comes to mind very recently put out some very good feedback towards the developers. Bombling put out a very nice post on the forum about the things that he likes and some of the things that he would like to see changed. It was very, very well received. That's the way you do feedback, guys.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I'll even add another dimension to that because I've had a chance, shout out Bombling. Our conversations and what you've sent me has been really interesting. And the remember, like, it just reminds me of that Bruce Lee quote, boards don't hit back. We're all hitting on a stupid target dummy. Like, this isn't real life scenarios yet. There's still a lot of like theory even before the practice to be put into play. I I had started the game when the three, the tank, melee DPS, and healer reworks came through. I thought they were pretty great with very little, obviously very little to compare them from before. I'm excited about the new potential ways that we'll be able to play the game through this. So don't give up, keep it up, and remember, like, whatever you find and do on a dummy isn't the be all end all. I will talk about my results on dummies. Serj will have many takes as well as we talk about the classes that we've had the opportunity to test. I've done some Magussy and some Sork work. So we'll have fun about that. But just again, remember, we're still in the very much theoretical, even if we're testing on dummies.
Well, the dummies that I like to test on are order players. Okay, so White Lion.
That was an easy one.
The White Lion
So
was a small change. Toughness transferred from gear, reduced from 100 to 75%. Now gains 25% from the player's armor. I don't exactly know what that means, but it sounds like their pet got a small toughness nerf.
Yeah, many warband White Lions we face today run Lone Wolf, or Loner, or whatever the name of that is, so they don't even have their pet out. Because
their pets are so bad. I hate pets in any MMO, but this one by far takes the cake.
Let us know in the comments, pet classes. I don't like them either, so you're not going to get a competing view here. Let us know.
I think if Mythic had some more time and they weren't rushed to push the game out so soon, they could have done a little bit more with pet classes. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
In the 20 years since, nobody's really reinvented it. It's still just as stale. And
well, just until recently, they didn't have the ability to do all of these things. So they're developing the tools they need in order to make these changes. So maybe pet classes or the pet AI will be reworked in the future. But for right now, based on what Mythic did, it's not exactly my favorite way.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, actually.
All right, Shadow Warrior. Huge playstyle change for Shadow Warrior. So no longer Festering Arrow is no longer a long cast time, all up front corporeal damage that you can crit a tank for 6k with. I've seen it happen. Don't tell me that it can't happen. It does happen. Now, Festering Arrow has been reduced to a 1-second cast, can be used while moving, and it has had its damage split in half. It does half of its damage up front, half of its damage over time. However, you can stack it up to 10 stacks, and if you're in Scout stance, you can stack that. You can stack it up to 5 stacks for every cast. So what it does is it increases the damage of your dot by up to 100%. For each stack, so it's 10% each stack. So you cast Festering Arrow, stack it 10 times, and that dot is going to tickle the shit out of your enemies. So it is a gameplay style change, but I think because it is a faster attack, and if you're in Scout stance, you cast it twice, you got your full stack up, you can do something else other than casting Festering Arrow, which to me brings more excitement to the playstyle.
At the same time, and again, we're very much in the theoretical. If any of the numbers I've seen people posted on dummies are anywhere near real,
the numbers that people have shared with us have been gross.
This is juiced. I love it.
Single target Shadow Warrior is not anything to worry about.
I'll tell you, and maybe spoiler alert but the build variety that I've just had a little bit of fun messing around in PTS and kind of putting numbers to it. Obviously, again, these are numbers on a dummy. This is mostly meaningless, but just kind of having fun with it, seeing what works, what doesn't. I think this patch has given out some pretty cool options, honestly. So in this, yeah, you were saying Festering Arrow. We've got Path of the Skirmisher, took a little AoE nerf, but it was pretty gross in terms of output.
So, even still, melee Shadow Warrior is still pumping out really good numbers according to the stuff that has been shared with us on. We have friends that play Order, and we have a couple of Order characters ourselves. So I was worried, and I stated in a previous podcast that the Shadow Warrior was way too overpowered with the way that Festering Arrow worked. And when they change it, if they nerf it too bad, it's going to destroy Shadow Warrior. And I think they nailed it. I think they smashed it out of the park. They did a really good job with the rework for Shadow Warrior. There's a lot more to talk about with Shadow Warrior, and I don't want to read everything to you, but the playstyle has changed, and you are now going to you're gonna have to press something else other than Festering Arrow. Wait, that's not what it's called. Yeah, Festering Arrow.
Yeah, it's Festering Arrow.
I love it, man. I think it's great.
Honestly, look, changing up the play style could be a good thing. It's going to take some testing. It's going to take a little bit of time. We haven't had a lot of hands-on time on it. Again, we're going off what we've seen, the feedback around the forums, around the discords, things like that. Hopefully what we'll see on the battlefield is close to that. I hope that the kind of juice numbers that people were able to get to, I'm hoping I'm not getting hit by that in the field. Oh, it's going to make me big sad. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, right?
I mean, it's
right?
gotta be better than it was. Being hit by 2 Festering Arrows for 6k, it doesn't matter who you are, you're just dead. I've had it happen to me on a number of characters. Being on the receiving end of that, there's no counterplay. Being on the giving end of that, sure, it's fun, but you didn't do anything. You just pressed one button and they died because you had a friend that also pressed the same button at the same time as you. So, whatever. Seeing 6k crits is fun, but I don't know, man.
Oh, it's fun when you're the one dishing it out. And I mean, I think the overall idea of this patch is to reduce TTK being time to kill, and slow things down.
TTK is 3 seconds right now, right?
It's crazy. No, it's got to be higher than that. I don't think a lot of classes burst above.
Okay, I'm basing this off of warband play.
But in warband play,
like
you
seconds.
can rip somebody apart in one channel for sure.
Like you stack morales, everybody jumps in, they channel, they do their armor shreds, and then just drop their morales in the same spot. And if you're standing there and you get hit by all that at one time, like, you're just dead. So that's what I was basing my TTK off. I think in small man it's longer than 3 seconds, but
yeah, I mean, we've gotten some it's always like, I'm always happy, and I think, okay, let me soapbox a little bit because it's relevant to these notes, right? Why do people blob up? Why do people do all of that?
I have my own
because of course, therein lies the point of our podcast. But to share these thoughts, but right in T1 you get to fight for a while because everything's so slow and insanely boring. But what happens when you hit T4, you join a puck band, boom, you hit head to head with another warband. Seconds later, fight is finished, right? And you're done. You're either laying on your ass or you're standing there victorious. Now, if you're laying there on your ass, you're coming right back to Warcamp. You're clearing your wounds. You're setting up again. You're mounting up. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to go out there again looking for a fight, which can be immediate, but it can take a few minutes. And then and then the same thing happens again. A fight breaks out. last 15 seconds, you're done. Increasing that time, giving people a chance, giving healers, more average healers, average players a chance to do their jobs and learn and do things like that when getting hit, gives them a chance and maybe the confidence that a warband will go out and take an objective. Another one will do, like, it increases the chances that the blob will break because of that. Like, I think lowering TTK is brilliant because I guarantee you no pug likes getting rolled by an organized warband. And when I say organized warband, I'm not talking about the person recruiting in region saying recruiting for an organized warband. I'm talking about 24 players who are handpicked to be there to do their absolute best, and their best is to fuck you up. Like, I'm just going to be honest about that, right? And so that makes things a lot more harder. These warbands can lead the realm. And so slowing it down just a tiny bit from the fight side, I think is overall a good thing.
But you didn't say why.
Soapbox.
You didn't say why you think warbands end up in that blob.
It's the safest and best option.
Okay, so
today,
I have my
it is
own,
the safest and best option.
I have my own idea of why blobs are formed, and I don't think it's intentional. I think people are just going after the fights. They're being told by those witch elves and witch hunters, there's a warband here. So all the other warbands converge on where the fight is going to happen. So one witch elf says, oh, there's a warband here, but there's 3 warbands running and they're all in different locations, and they go to where that is because nobody said, okay, we'll take care of it, right? They just all go, all right, let's go. And it ends up looking like a blob just came after that one warband. So then the other side says, well, they're blobbing, so we don't have any counterplay, so we have to do the same thing. So I just think I don't think it's intentional. That's just my take on it. Not at first.
Agree. And I mean, there are just so many factors we could, it's almost like it could be a good podcast episode. But yeah, let's talk Squig Herder. I think you've heard us when it comes to what I think is the intent of this patch. And what I think is also, as Serj was mentioning, a push towards helping people explore different playstyles.
Right. And
in some cases, an obligation.
I was looking at the Squig Herder changes when they first released, and I was thinking, man, they really don't like me playing the way that I was playing before. They really want to force me into this a different play style. Honestly, I don't think it's as bad. And I was thinking that there was a nerf to the overall damage. But after looking through it and testing it out, I don't think that's true. All it did was shift some of the play to be a little bit different. So previously, you didn't take poison arrow. It just wasn't something you took because it didn't do enough damage. It was a 3-second cast time, and it didn't hit nearly as hard as Festering Arrow for Shadow Warrior did. Now they've given you a way to actually play off of What Blocka, so you can take a tactic that now changes What Blocka to reduce corporeal damage. Poison Arrow is a poison damage, or a corporeal damage ability. So now you use What Blocka, reduce corporeal damage, hit him with Poison Arrow, and it also has a poison dot at the end, just very similar to Festering Arrow. It just changes the way that you play the game. I don't think that it's a nerf. I honestly think it might be a buff. It's just not front-loaded damage. It's all spread out, so it's more sustainable and not bursty. So people that were getting shredded by Shadow Warriors and Squig Herders before are now going to be able to stand up a little bit longer in the fight, but they're still going to be dishing out the same, if not more, damage overall. That's just my reaction to these changes. The AoE.
Nice little melee shaman buff. Melee shaman. I
Yeah,
see
the
SH, I always think
AoE,
shaman.
the AoE for Squig Herder has definitely been buffed. The damage that you did with your finisher, finish them off, has been reduced if they're over 30%, so you're not going to be using it above 30%, which you shouldn't have been anyway. A nice huge change that I absolutely love is you no longer have to use, well, you are not taking Taste Like Stunty if you're in a warband anyway, but if you're doing small man, Taste Like Stunty was a channel. Now you use what is it called? I forgot what it was called. Now you use your ability that you and your Squig both hit at the same time, and it heals you for the amount of damage that you both did. So it's a lot faster to get your health back instead of having to channel, which is a good change. Being able to summon your pets while moving in Squig armor, huge benefit. I hated having to stand still for 2 to 3 seconds to cast a summon Squig. Now you can just be in Squig armor and summon your Squig back. There was a slight nerf for players that are at BIS. You now have a flat armor increase instead of being based on the percentage of your total armor. So if you're at BIS, you're probably going to see less armor, but this is a increase for players that are at lower tier gear. So I don't really think that's a bad thing, honestly. Another huge one is Out of My Way has been slightly nerfed in that it does not knock back the players
Indefinitely
constantly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like now it's once every 1.5 seconds, similar to Winds of Insanity. So it's no longer you just cast Out of My Way and then they can't do anything if they're getting hit by the Squig. So it's a slight nerf, but I don't think it's a bad thing. They changed Exploding Arrow. They really changed a lot of the arrow types to be corporeal damage instead of any other type of damage, which makes sense because now that's just their damage type. I think that's basically it. There's a lot of other changes. Oh, Kaboom's radius reduced to 25 feet instead of 30. Another huge increase right here. I say huge. Run and Shoot had its damage increase. The flat damage up front was increased slightly, but I think it's overall.
Everybody loves Run and Shoot.
I love Run and Shoot. It's
the only ability I know how to use because I can run and shoot.
It's the only ability I use. I mean, it's not true, but
I'm not a very good, Squig Herder. So
I love Squig Herder. It's going to change the way that people play the game, and I don't think it's changing anything in a bad way. It's really not a drastic change. Some of the stuff, instead of just casting one ability and then another ability and then like the abilities feed off of each other, so they play off of each other. You cast one ability to make another ability stronger and you go back and forth. It's a lot like the Mork and Gork mechanic from Shaman. Not as good as that, but it reminds me of that. Like you play the abilities play off of each other more. I love it. I mean, I could do an entire episode. I can do an entire episode on just one class. Like we could do a series where we just cover one class and talk about that one class for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But we're not going to do that today. So I think overall Squig Herder is just slight changes to how they play, but I don't think anything really got nerfed at all.
That's good news. And I mean, buff to melee Squig Herder is good for my warbands, so I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. They should be closer to the Choppas, but nothing's going to beat that Choppa damage.
Nor should it. I'm kidding. I mean, good DPS.
Sork is probably going to be the closest, if not topping but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Next is
Well,
engineer.
another class that got some nice buffs is engineer, right? Some good buffs all around. So Path of Rifleman has strong single target, so not changing it, but they are changing the mechanics around the turrets, which I get. Again, it's another type of pet. It's still a pet.
It's at
AoE
least it doesn't
spec
have its
is
own
staying mostly
AI.
intact.
Like they put it where they want it, and it just
Well, because
stays
it's
there.
stationary. I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah, I understand you saying it's sort of like a pet, but it's not as bad because it doesn't have a mind of its own. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, so, I mean,
In my
there's
opinion.
a few options for working around your turret. I think like the high-end single target NGs that I've played against are scary and dangerous.
For sure.
So if they get even more options, I'm going to be watching out for those NGs and not just telling people to stand in their puddles.
I mean, I think single target NG is going to be scarier than they already are.
I think so. I think again it provides a few options to the warband as well. I think that there's a tactic that is an AP pump based on proximity to the turret, if I'm not mistaken, or is that only for Magus?
Well, I know Magus has that. I don't know anything about engineer. It's the only DPS class I have interest in playing on order, but engineer.
No, it's a stunty. That's out of the question.
I don't have a problem with stunties, honestly.
They have a problem with you. They have an entire book of grudges.
That's their problem.
It really is. Yeah, mortar round got removed as a morale. Not a lot of people talking about that. I don't know that it was maybe used a lot. The morales there. I think what they want to do is have every ranged DPS or every DPS class have 3 morale 2 options.
Yeah, so a lot of people are complaining about Sork losing morale 2 and Bright Wizard not losing their morale 2. This is where they lost it. This is where they lost it. Well, we're here now. We're talking about engineer because engineer lost their morale 2.
And apparently, like if we just above the morale there, you'll see electromagnet randomness and pull distance reduced, making the ability more consistent overall. We'll see. I know that like almost every other patch they try to patch these things. These are difficult. There's only one server, so it caters to a global population, so pings will vary widely. Positioning becomes an issue, but good overall. Keep plucking away at it, dev team. Well done. Thank you. Yeah.
Here we are, Magus.
Here we go. So I'm not a Magus player. I don't like Magi overall. I'll be upfront with my bias on there. Did roll one up on the PTS to test it out. I'll be honest. It's juiced right now. The single target damage is juiced. The AoE is juiced.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to be up against a Magus right now, you're in a world of hurt in solo play.
Well, boards don't hit back, right? So on a stationary
yes,
dummy
that's true.
doing nothing, I was really good. In a warband where everyone's moving, I still think Mist is one of the least satisfying abilities to use ever, and the way its damage ramps up is just annoying and useless. Warband fights are all about burst damage.
The worst thing about Mists is when you place Mists on the ramparts, just feeding morales to the enemy warband.
Or you're on the ramparts and place it below.
I'll throw up a little video that I have of Mist going up and the order just standing in it. All you're doing is feeding morales.
To be fair, we do that with NG fire puddles.
Well,
we'll see everybody just
stop doing it on both sides.
Well, you're always going to have new players who are like, oh, I can put little damage pops up, etc., etc. So you can't control that fully. But I mean, if you're there to pad your non-kill numbers, like you're hurting the realm. Anyways, this wasn't the point of that, but I'll always come back to just being angry at mist and puddles. Demonic minions reworked a little bit. Path of Demonology, which is the Rift spec, has received significant changes. Potential for some non-terrible day. Again, I'm staying skeptical about this. I don't bring a lot of magi to my warbands.
There hasn't
because
really
of the
been
lack of burst.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a need for more than one, and usually you take one Rift Magus, but now Rift Magus.
I wouldn't even pick a Rift Magus these days because it's that invincible meme where, you know, Rift Magus is the jet and Choppa's the Omni-Man being like, look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. Choppa Pull is just better. Because it does a ton of damage and gives you movement and is based on you. Anywho, so I still, like, I just don't, I need damage and I need kills and I need utility, and rifting.
Well, I think Magus is now going to bring more damage to the warband.
Yeah, but then, you know, even our tier list episode, we talked about the mix of damage and utility as being the core, you know, kind of delivery of a DPS. And I've kind of been, anyways, I'm not asking to be convinced directly on this podcast. Talk to us in the comments. I just don't know what unique buffs aside from the armor does a Magus bring to a warband that makes it worthwhile. Educate me, please. Otherwise, otherwise.
All right.
Couple things. So I played around with it. I didn't play the Path of Havoc, which is the one that got buffed the most. Just going quickly here. Abilities that I've used, not so much in this. Surging Power no longer affects Surge of Insanity. All these surges, like we've got Surge right here. Swift Flames, none of that. Like Demonic Withering Soul is an important part of your kit now. In terms of the abilities, a couple of things I've noticed. So like the demons gain better intelligence conversion, which is good. Dissolving Mist changed and buffed for sure, but again,
yeah,
I was
it
just
was
saying,
pretty big buff too. Like it's like 60% buff on the third.
On the DB, so you high-end Maguses will really enjoy it. One ability that I really loved was Seed of Chaos. I don't think Seed of Chaos was used much because it would pop 15 seconds after being put down. Now it's 5 seconds afterwards. I am mixing it in. It's doing a lot of good work for me on the dummy. So who knows? I guess you got to put it on the target that in 5 seconds will be surrounded the most. That's pretty easy to pull off, I feel like. Another important one is Agonizing Torrent can now be cast while moving. Huge. Cooldown from Withered Soul removed. Huge. Infernal Blast was part of the rotation for Rift Maguses doing damage. Doing spirit damage, there's less spirit resistances. That's really good. Warp Fire cooldown reduced, so if you're using the new Sleight of Hand, which we'll talk about in a minute, becomes really cool. So you have a lot of these little options. You have the little cooldown jumper with Sleight of Hand. I went like full Path of Calamity, was able to get some absolutely insane numbers. I think this is going to be cool. This is in a good place. I'm excited. I'm excited for Maguses. I know I've seen the Maguses being excited as well. Magi being excited as well. That's the plural, right? It's Magi.
I think it's Magusi.
Magusi.
I mean, I don't see anything bad in here for Magus.
And honestly, like Path of Havoc, the problem with Path of Havoc was not damage, and they got a nice little damage boost. So.
Well,
cool.
I mean, you
like,
could say the same thing about AoE Squig Herder. Like Squig Herder, Path of Bouncing was not lacking on damage, but they now are a little bit closer to Marauders and Choppas in their damage output, at least from what I can tell on the patch notes. Well, it's yet to be
but
seen.
like, and I mean, this is the breaking news. This isn't the final patch that this game will ever receive. So like, if some of this stuff
Numbers can
just is
change.
not working out, they can change it.
Yeah,
Heck, they
the
can
game
change it
has-
before they even release it. But I just don't think that the like. I don't know anything. I might be speaking, hopefully not speaking out of turn, but like, I don't think that the devs will immediately jump and throw away what I'm assuming here is months of work, because we tested some numbers on dummies that don't fight back. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like,
most dummies.
not saying that there is no relevant data there, but
I don't. It's interesting to see dummy numbers, but real
It
world
is.
numbers are going to be more indicative of how they play, and we're not going to get that until people actually get to test it on live. So
Yeah.
things may change from the PTS to live, but this is most likely what we're going to see. They're just looking for
Yeah.
bugs right now, and I absolutely love the fact that they released this for the PTS so people can test it out, see how things are going to play. I think it's a great decision. I wish they would have done this for the previous patches.
I agree.
All right,
agree.
big controversy here. Bright Wizard versus Sork.
Let's go to the Bright Wizard. By our episode's release, I think good feedback has already been given. Shout out Bombling, appreciate you. I think there's some interesting builds there again with sleight of hand and some cooldown jumping. For those that don't know, it's at the top of the notes, but sleight of hand got reworked from being a pure PvE into it reduces all cooldowns by 2 seconds. Very cool. So if you have like low cooldown abilities, you're jumping from one to the other. Bright Wizard is one of the potentials here. Detonate, I think, was one of the bigger reworks. Basically detonate from ignites and things like that. The numbers are pretty juiced. Nothing got removed in terms of morales. Little bit of buff because there was a bug that spreading flames wasn't actually proccing wildfire on dot applications. So that's gonna make it a little bit more better and consistent. No changes to the main mechanics of the class, which recently, and this is maybe from a Sork perspective, I felt was a little bit uninspired to me, because I just find that these classes will have a lot of incentive to create static fights, at keeps or funnels and things like that. And I personally prefer to try and take open fights where there's a lot of movement. So we'll see.
Bright Wizard was never in a bad spot before.
No, and overall, this is a Bright Wizard buff. Some good stuff for this for the single target. Area effect it's already doing its job. I didn't test Bright Wizard personally. The only way I've tested Bright Wizards is playing against them and getting annihilated.
I was gonna say. Just let's
move to Sork, because I think that's gonna maybe some central things, and I do have. Let's scroll up above Sork as well, just to talk about the general changes. There's a sleight of hand rework to reduce all your cooldowns by 2 seconds. Close quarter, again, these two could potentially be sleepers here.
I don't
reduces
think
your chance to be said. Yeah.
Close quarters change, I think, is huge. So close quarters reduces your cast time if you're within a certain range by 50%. But now it also reduces your chance to be set back while casting, which is huge.
Abilities that don't have a target. So anything that's on the ground.
It says, and now affects abilities that do not have a target requirement. So if you have an AoE ability that does not require a target, then your cast time is faster. So you can
even more juice than I thought. Amazing.
Yes. It's if it doesn't require a target, you don't have to be within the 25 feet from what I'm reading, and you no longer get, or you have a reduced chance to be set back. This is a huge buff to close quarters. I thought close quarters was pretty boring before. It required you to be in melee range for your AoE stuff. Now, it only requires you to be in melee range for your single target attacks or things that require you to have a target. But your just general AoE abilities, or I think it's huge. It's going to definitely change the way that people play using close quarters.
Yes, I mean, I think both of those are still like potentially sleeper top 4 the tactics there.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome change. I don't even play a class that uses close quarters, but it's pretty awesome. I don't know if Squig Herder has it. I've never used it because it was never any good. I think actually they do. I think they have it.
Okay. Let's sork it up. So no core changes, no changes to the core mechanics, obviously. Single target sees a few changes, some reworks. Shades of Death is pretty cool. It'll apply to your group now. So good synergy with melee. Oftentimes sorks, because of their buffs, are brought with a melee choppa or a bouncy squig, something like that. So that works out nicely. AoE Sork juiced.
They're
super juiced.
They got nothing but buffs basically to their AoE.
Pretty much. I mean, Sork outside of Shatter being removed, and we'll talk about it.
You just did.
Got nothing but buffs.
Okay, but everybody. Okay, so let's.
So what happened to Shatter?
Shatter got removed, but Engineer got their morale 2 removed. And there is a ability that got added to Engineer, Shadow Warrior, and Squig Herder. They have a new morale 2, which gives the targeted area, it does 900 damage over 3 seconds and snares the target by 60%. So Squig Herder already had that. It was called Squig Goo, but now that Squig Goo got removed and they have something else, but now they have this ability. So for Squig Herders, nothing's changed. It's just now shared with Shadow Warrior and Engineer. So Engineer, Shadow Warrior, and Squig Herder have a new morale 2. But what did Sorks get?
So Sork, the above, there's a rework of Siphon Power. And basically, and it's even in the patch notes, that what I feel here is that the devs would like for us to explore using something like Focused Mind defensively, which makes sense. Sork don't have a lot of immunities, nor do they have any movement skills. So being entirely dependent on a Black Orc Weezbigga, not ideal. So I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic about it. My one issue, and this is with regards to the Shatter, then we'll just talk a little bit about the Sork here. My one issue with regards to the Shatter is, at least in our time zone, and the folks that we're playing with or against are extremely organized. Their morale bombs are already very, very strong. And now our morale bombs have gotten weaker in answer to that. But our overall attacks,
overall damage is increased.
Yeah. So that'll be, does it smooth it out? Will it protect us from getting blown up and not allowing our healers to do their job? We'll see. You know what? I'm open. There's a counterplay for everything, I like to believe. So in the abilities, Absorb Vitality, damage increase, that's not really on my side, but Hand of Ruin, damage per interval increased, Gloom of Night, cast time reduced. So I was trying to mess about with Gloom of Night. because it could be an interesting option to add a dot and a layer of damage into AoE builds. I've still been finding like a lot of probably mess around a little bit more on the PTS. I've still been finding it more enjoyable to go for Impending Doom and skip Path of Calamity. But I might not do that because points into Path of Calamity will also improve Ice Spikes, and Ice Spikes gets me a weird number of kills. Like a weirdly high number of kills, actually.
Sound like you're complaining.
No, not at all. Well, it did sound that way. Shadow Knives damage increased, so the damage multiplier from 0.75 of your damage bonus to just flatly adding your damage bonus to it ends up being about a 10% increase overall on high end. Just tested with the soft gear on PTS. Black Horror comes into play. I think it makes an interesting case for at least one Sorc to bring Black Horror. The initiative debuff is interesting. Chance to be crit. We want strike through. We want all that stuff. Serj disappeared on me. There he is. And I think it creates a new option. So I was pretty interested in that. It does deal some damage, which is not insignificant, right? So
I mean,
I think Black Horror is back on the menu, boys.
I think Sorc is going to be a force to be contended with.
Yeah.
Even if they lost their hard-hitting morale 2, they still do have access to an offensive morale 2. So they didn't lose all of their morale 2s. They just lost Shatter, which was the one that they preferred. But I feel like the overall damage output from Sorc is just going to be scary.
Well, I mean, I can like Disastrous Cascade. I kind of jumped over because I was excited about Black Horror. Disastrous Cascade, with the numbers I got, it's about a 10% increase on the high end as well. And so, like, I can picture myself, as I'm running in, already sped up, popping Focus Mines, and for the next 10 seconds, they're gonna try to pump me out of there. But like, I'm gonna cast the crap out of that Disastrous Cascade. So we'll see. Demonic Chill reworked as an enchantment. Darwind, like, we're not. I think Sorc and Bright Wizard might need a rework just because, like, they're the spender mechanic.
Well,
like,
so
spending
they
all
did
your
have
dark
they
magic
did
is
have something to say
bad.
about reworking the mechanic at the very top.
Yeah,
They said
they're
that-
not touching it just yet.
They said that if they were to change the way that it worked, that basically it comes down to it would be a lot of work. So this doesn't say that they're not going to do it. It just says that they're not changing.
It's a lot of work,
the class mechanic,
which is fair
right now. So this is just balance changes based on the way that it currently works. They may in the future do a class rework for how it works. And I agree with the statement, like, Sorc is just extremely squishy. So we'll see how that plays out in the future.
Yeah.
Okay,
overall,
so
I think this gives Sorc nice little damage boost on the high end. Nice little build options. Like, again, Black Horror. I think casting like Black Horror as you're coming in, maybe Gloom of Night right before you Ice Spike. You have to be stationary for 1.5 seconds, but once you pop your Focus Mind before the channel, you're ready. With Wiesbiga and Line Cracker, if you time yourself right, you can have 15 seconds of immunities back to back. That's massive. That's usually the length of a fight. I'm hoping to see the TTK come down, but like,
I don't think it is.
I don't make like that's the thing, is like a big part of the bomb is like Ruin and Destruction, which is shattered, but on Bright Wizard, it's still there. So like, we're still gonna get bombed just as hard. I don't know that we have any options to or have received any new options to counter that. we'll look at it. Look, there's a counterplay to everything. If I'm not seeing it right now, we'll figure it out as we go, right?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. So kind of like what I am like I've been feeling kind of uninspired on my Sork, and this like just getting on the PTS and trying a few builds, and I'm like, oh, these are nice outputs.
I don't know. I don't have a Sork, but reading these changes to Sork and Magus makes me want to play one of both. So I
not
do,
Magus.
well, I do have the Squig Herder. I wish we could have talked a lot longer about Squig Herder. We just had a lot of stuff that we had to get through.
It's a like, I mean, you see us scrolling through this, like this is such a huge patch.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. We only have an hour and a half to do this. We will cover all of the classes in a future series that we're going to do on the podcast. We've already talked about it, so spoiler alert, stay tuned for a series of classes. We just haven't discussed how we're going to do it yet. Anyway, I feel like with these changes to Sork and Magus, it definitely makes me want to try one. You may not like the changes to Magus, but I do like solo and small band stuff.
Oh, I like the changes. I just don't like, you know, Magussi's.
Okay.
I just and honestly, like maybe where we kind of I don't know how to, like, I think they're trying to push for fights to build all the way to M3 by slowing it down, which is, I think it's pretty cool. That's where we're like, maybe Sork's like Darkstar cloak might come into play. More like because there's some morale 3s that are just still very good with damage and they have not been touched, but it's just, at least on Destro side, like I know from Order I get hit by a lot of morale 3s, but on Destro side I'm not calling for them to be used a lot, nor am I using them quite a lot.
I just don't feel like morale 3s are as good as morale 2s. They take longer to reach. They do about the same amount of damage. Nobody has a good morale 4 except for tanks. Actually, that's not true. Squig Herder has an amazing morale 4 that they did have baseline, but now you have to tactic or spec for it in Path of Big Bouncing, I think. It's on the 15th.
I'm glad you said that, and we still got a little bit of time to talk about this a little bit more, because this is really interesting. Yeah, we all love our tank M4, so I'm not trying to. This is me trying to make sure that Serj doesn't try to attack me after the show. But yes, tank M4s are really great. But now, and I've kind of been messing around with builds recently, not just on the PTS. In most MMOs, there's an advantage to hyper specializing. In this, obviously, mixing survivability with specializations and damage. Stomp the Yard, Choppa M4 spect. Extremely strong. Sork, I've been messing about, and I think I've been sleeping on this, but Paralyzing Nightmares, 1800 damage in a line unmitigated with a root for 3 seconds. Yeah, please.
I mean, I know that they exist. It feels like the amount of time it takes to reach morale 4 versus a morale 2. If you can survive, the enemy's morale 2, so you can build up to a morale 4, okay, it makes sense. But you're gonna spend your tanks can reach morale 4, especially a chosen. They can reach morale 4 in like 20 seconds. It's insane how quickly you can get to morale 4.
And here's the no morale pumps, and I'm just getting this from the wiki because like base morale gain is 20 per second. Because what you were saying, oh, if they've dropped their M2 and you can survive and build to M4, then you're good. But guess what? If you do that, you're gonna have to survive another M2.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting there. Like,
that's insane.
So like you have to survive the morale 2, but if you're gonna survive a single morale 2, your healers are probably gonna hit their morale 3s. Your tanks are going to hit their morale 4s. You're going to be using your challenges. You're going to drop a lot of defensives to be able to stand up to that. But then you're going to have to do it again before you can so what's the point of building a morale 4 that does slightly more damage if you can just build a morale 2 and just kill them? That's why I said there are no good morale 4s.
Hence my concern about the removal of shatter, right? Because we're in a circle now. But
I mean, we could talk all day about this, but
easily
I think
and have in the past.
I think we will save it for another future episode. We do have a really good episode that we postponed to do this one. That is going to come out Friday. This
Very
one
excited.
was a little bit delayed due to some illnesses, but everybody's feeling better. Welcome back, Bank. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Let us know down in the comments what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with, how you are finding these changes. Do you think that they're good changes? I want to hear, especially from the witch elves and witch hunters, because I think that's going to be the highest point of contention. Just let us know what you think.
Yeah, and honestly, thank you for the reaction already to the tier list video. We had a lot of fun making that one. Keep it up in the comments. We want to hear from you, your thoughts on the PTS. Is it going to change what you're planning to play post-patch? Is it changing what you want to play right now? But please, I think what we'll just ask of you is, don't get swept up in the negativity. There's so many ways to play this game. There's so many ways to have fun.
And there's even more ways to play the game now with this patch.
Exactly. Sometimes if you just don't see it yet, get some help from somebody positive. Join a community of people who are looking forward, not backward. And I promise you're gonna have something fun. Like I think just kind of messing around with this, like I've renewed my love for this game. So please keep it patched us. I love that. Oh man. But honestly, with that, thank you for this week. Play the game the way that you enjoy. We're going to see you next week on the Warcamp Broadcast.
Absolutely. Break the meta, play for fun, catch you in the next one.